from that break. This is still Good Morning Abuja on NTA Channel 5, the Unity Station. Thank God it's Friday, TGIF. And what is Friday all about? For you to relax, chill, rest, vibe. Not forgetting to finish your work. I know you can say, allow me to be lazy on Fridays because the name Friday is as if it makes people tired on time once it's Friday. Anyway, joining us this morning is a strategy expert, Adeyinka. She's here to talk to us about being strategic. You know, it's something very, very important. My name is Uloma Ibe. Welcome on board. Help me make welcome. Strategy expert. Good morning.
Good morning, Uloma.
Good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
You look beautiful.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, so we'd like to know how to be strategic. You know, they say, you didn't do this thing well because you were not strategic enough. You didn't do it well. So talk to us about what do we need to know about what is strategy, first of all. Strategic planning. How do you plan strategically?
Okay, thank you so much. I think that word sometimes is overused and sometimes it's not well understood.
Oh, really?
I'll be glad to actually provide some definition. So I'd like to define strategy or strategic planning as that process of gaining advantage.
Gaining advantage.
Yes, over the long term. So it's not a short-term thing. It's you sitting down with your business and saying, how can I move this business from where I am to a desired position, in the future. So it's about the choices you make in order to move yourself or your business or your entity or your department, your organization from where you are now to a desired place.
Where you want to be.
Yes, a place of advantage. So that is strategic. So that process of planning and devising.
Like planning ahead.
Exactly. So creating a roadmap, a blueprint, or a playbook to get you from where you are to a desired place is the process of strategic planning. And it differs from operational planning because from the word operations, is about day-to-day routine.
Day-to-day
so
routine.
You could get to the office today and say, oh, we have to do this show and do that. How can we plan? Where's our guest? So that's operational. But when you're talking strategically, you're saying, how can I take this show from where it is to a place where it is the most watched show in the next 3 years. So yeah.
I like the fact that you're using our show as an example. Interesting. You said the word is usually overused or not understood. So it simply means when you're talking about strategy, well, sometimes we say, I have a strategy for that thing, So it means the person is talking about a long term.
Yes.
A long time.
Something that will deliver value over a long time.
Interesting. So walk us through the step you would take to build a 3-year business or a department, a 3-year step, because you said it's a long-term thing. It's not the now. So as a business person, you have that mindset. Listen, this business is not just about now. How do I take it to that 3 years? So yes, I'm open to hear that.
Okay, so steps to plan a strategic plan for a 3-year period, maybe for a business or a department.
Yes.
So you first start with awareness.
Awareness.
Yes, and what do I mean by that? You do a research to say what is happening in my environment, internally and externally.
When you say environment, is it the environment of the business?
Yes,
or just in general environment,
the operating environment of that business. So first internally. So you're saying what strengths do we have? What advantages do we have? What skills do we have? Then in the wider industry that we play, what is happening there? What are our customers looking for? Is demand changing? What are our competitors doing? So just being aware, what are the new regulations?
Nice.
So for example, a business could say, oh, I have a plan to do something, not knowing that a new regulation has been issued to even stop that.
Change has happened.
Exactly. So first it starts with that awareness. And that is where data comes in. Strategy really needs data. Yes. And then from there, you then sit down and envision and have some clarity to say, so given our reality, given the things that are going for us and the things that are happening in our environment, the changes that are happening, now there's AI. Now there is this, there is inflation, different factors. So that's why I said internal and external environment. So where do we now want to be in that 3 years? So you craft a vision statement and say, in the next 3 years, we want to be maybe the leading business in this area, and and all of that. So you craft your vision, you craft your winning aspiration, and we want to triple our profits, by so period of time. We want to be big. We want to craft that desired vision. So after defining the destination, then you come back to say, so how do we now move from here to there?
Okay.
So how do we win? What are other people doing? And what should we do separately or differently from the other people? What will give us an advantage? Do we need to go into strategic partnerships so that will give us more visibility for our business? So that is when you're now going into the specific strategies.
This sounds like a lot of work.
Well, it's a lot of thinking and mental work. But you need to do the work so that you can then glide.
Okay.
Right? And then so from there you then you now break it down, because when you stop just with visioning, then after 3 years, you see that you're still where you are. Then you now break it down into objectives and KPIs and targets.
What is KPIs?
KPI means key performance indicator.
Okay.
So it's just a way of saying what are the things I'm going to measure to know if I'm making progress. So maybe it could be percentage increase in the number of customers that come to our website. So if we want to triple our profits, then we need to attract more customers. So you can now say every month we're going to see if the number of customers that demand for our services is increasing. So that's just an example of a KPI. Then you assign a target to it. You break it down into specifics. And that is where strategy now begins to go into tactical and operational. So everybody now knows that, in 3 years, we want to triple our size. So that means we need to change the approach to which we attract customers.
We have to put in a lot of work.
We have to put in.
When you mention data, some business persons, they don't know mathematics. I mean, the data you're talking about, does it have to do with calculation, or does it have to do with mathematics? Because I know I did data analysis in school as a broad course. I struggled with that calculation. So when you say data as a business person, what aspect of data are you talking about?
So I'm referring to both qualitative and quantitative data.
Okay.
So the quantitative data is the mathematical
calculation. So who is going to do that calculation for us?
So I mean, it doesn't have to be so complex.
Okay.
It's just as basic as you saying, what is the inflation last year and what is the inflation this year? Our prices of things going higher. Does that mean that will increase our cost of production?
Okay.
How should that impact on our pricing? So not all the data out there, but the data relevant to you. And then there's the qualitative part too of data. So for example, customer trends and customer needs. People now, maybe they don't want to go out to a supermarket, they want to sit in the house and order it. That is also data.
Interesting. Okay, so nice. So how do you ensure alignment between company vision, strategy goals, and day-to-day KPIs?
Okay, great. Because that is where a lot of organizations fail. People say, we created a strategy and it's sitting on the shelf because you did not
implement
it. Yes. So it needs to now come from being a 3-year plan.
What's the word you use? I like those your professional terms.
Cascade.
Meaning
you're breaking it down and sharing it with every staff.
Okay. Yes. You need to carry them along.
Exactly.
It's not a part where, as a business owner, you want to hide information.
No.
You need to carry everyone along.
Everybody needs to own the strategy, and everybody needs to know what they contribute to the strategy. So if we say we want to triple our profits, still using that example, right? Somebody in HR might say, I'm not in marketing.
It's not my business.
But it is, because when you're creating your strategy, some of the steps I was trying to say, you also need to now say, what are the capabilities that I need to be able to achieve this triple
profits.
Exactly. So maybe we need a professional salesman. Maybe we need a new brand designer. That is the role of HR. So HR now needs to say, okay, this is my own bit. This is how I contribute to the strategy. So HR will have their own KPI to say, you are ensuring that the staff we have are well motivated, they're doing the best, the sales team is doing their best. Or if we do not have a branding person, you're recruiting a competent brand person. So that is where it goes down to operational planning, where you now break it down and say, okay, on a monthly basis, these are the things that we need to see. So because it won't just happen at the end of 3 years. We have to build towards.
You have to set targets.
Yes, you have to set targets.
We'll call for a break now. We'll go for a break. But before then, we've seen that many companies, business owners, they do not just say, hey, you're a marketing department. They make everyone a marketer. We'll talk about that when we come back from this break. This is still Good Morning Abuja. Let's take this break. When we come back, the strategy expert is still here to talk to us. I'm sure you'll gain from this conversation. All right, so welcome back from that break. Interesting conversation. I love business loads. I love money. So anything that puts money in my pocket, call me there. We have a strategy expert talking to us about how to move your business. She says strategy simply means long-term planning, long-term goal. Are you a strategist? She'll talk to us. Now, I asked a question. We've seen that many business owners, we know we have a sales department. Now, they try to involve the staff members to say, you can also talk to your friends about buying from us, about what we do. How is that going? Do you think it's something that will help the company grow?
I think it's a good strategy on its own.
A good strategy on its own.
Yes, ensuring that every member contributes to the bottom line. But where it goes wrong is if you're setting the same type of KPIs for the sales team and you're setting it for the HR team or the admin team.
Okay.
So you can let each staff know how what they do contributes to us having more sales. You can also now have, for those non-sales teams, you can have incentives. For them, when you bring in someone, you get
there is commission, 10% commission.
Well, I don't know about 10%. But even though it's not your core, because you're doing this, so that way, since that is what we're all focusing on growing, and I mean, whatever profits we make is what pays the salary of everybody. So you can now incentivize. However, that should not distract the admin person or the HR person from their own core work.
Job description.
Yes, so they should have their own KPIs that shows how they ensure that the organization is working seamlessly to achieve the sales, to support the sales team. While also you can now put in those incentives. Okay,
so what data sources do you rely on? Why certain strategies are priorities, and how do you handle gaps in data?
Okay, so if you remember at the beginning, I said there's the internal data, there's the external data, there's the qualitative, there's the quantitative. So for the internal data, you could have surveys. You could be as basic as saying, are you clear about our strategy? What do you think we can do better? Are you motivated? That is internal data. And that's a source. A survey can be a source. Speaking to your customers externally, also surveying them could also be a source of data. For other macroeconomic related data like inflation rates and all of those things, exchange rate, things that affect your business, the environment in which your business operates, you can rely on third-party data, secondary data, so a report by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, for example, and things like that. Now, in terms of data gaps, it's the reality. You don't have complete data most of the time. In some other clients, they have more data than in our own section, right? But even with what you have, the strategy still requires that you make an informed decision based on what you have. So if you try your best possible to get data, you work with what you have and you project, and then you keep learning. So that is why strategy is not something you just dump. Somebody has to be in charge of tracking and saying, oh, okay, this is our assumption. We assume that inflation will keep going up, so we put our price at this. Now inflation has dropped, so what do we need to correct? So there are data gaps, but you need to use the best that you have, then make some informed decision. Because if you keep waiting to have full visibility, then you will not take any action.
Okay, let's talk about the survey now. As a business person, are there things you can do for your unsatisfied clients? Since you asked them, how do you think we're faring? The food you got from us, was it delicious? Do you like the afang soup? How is the melon soup? And all of that. When they give you a feedback that is not so good, are there things you can do to like make them happy or something? Or are you looking at I've already put in this money to deliver this, it's not my fault? How do you go about that?
So to be strategic means that you need to make some strategic investments as well. So if you did your survey and you realize that your customers are not happy, one of the things you want to do is you want to gain them back. So you can decide that I will invest some money that I won't recoup and tell them we're giving you a free, tester or teaser or something. You can do something that will make them happy. Yeah. So sometimes we're being myopic when we say, that one has gone. Who will pay me for this? But you need to think about the long term. For every customer that you lose today, you're not only losing that customer, you're losing also people connected to that person. So it is being strategic for you to be able to go after your unsatisfied customer, especially if they are significant for your business, and find a way to win them over. You can even promise them a discount on their next order or something.
Is it related to this thing we keep hearing? One bad customer can make your business lose a certain percent?
Yes. Of course, you cannot even sit down to estimate the impact of one bad customer. Or even
one unhappy customer.
Yes, one unhappy customer. That's the right word. Yeah. So because you do not know who the person is connected to, even now, or later, you don't know what they will just mention and
where they will have that conversation.
Exactly. So you need to take value in your customers.
Okay, interesting. So how do you prioritize incentives when everything seems high? How do you do that?
Okay. So a lot of mistakes that people make when they create a strategic plan is they can have 100 initiatives that they want to do, but resources to achieve those initiatives
are not available.
Yes, are limited. So in strategy, it is very important that you're able to prioritize. And the framework I use for prioritizing is the Pareto principle, the 20-80 rule. There's always a 20% that affects the 80%. There's always a 20% of people that get 80% of the job done. There's always a 20% of initiatives that will give you 80% of the results. So you need to be able to say, of all the things I want to do, which 20% of these things would move the needle, that will really, once I do them, it will change the game for my business or for my organization. And then you focus on those first. So that's how to prioritize. What are the needle movers? We also use the concept of quick wins. What are the quick wins? But sometimes we mistake quick wins to mean what I can do quickly. It's not just what you can do quickly. It's what you can do quickly that will give you so much result. Because there are a lot of things you can do quickly, but if it won't amount to anything, then there's no need to prioritize them.
Okay, so this long-term, this strategy, what about the present? Aside strategic planning, which you've said is in long term, are there also operational planning that can help the business move? Why the strategic planning is coming behind?
So I would like to put it differently. The strategic plan shouldn't come behind. The strategic plan, once you are done with your strategic planning, it should distill down into your operation plan. It should start influencing your operations from day one. Being a long-term plan doesn't mean what I will do in 3 years. It means what I will start doing differently from today into the 3-year period. So your strategic plan should influence your operational plan.
As a wrap up this conversation, now, how do you review as a business person? Is it quarterly, yearly, annually, and your partnerships all together? Our time is up.
Okay, thank you. So I would say on a monthly basis, do some basic reviews. At least look at the initiatives and activities you plan to do. Are they moving as planned? If not, what do we need to correct?
What is missing?
On a quarterly basis, you do the same. And from there, by the time it's a quarter, you're now checking whether the strategic approach you adopted was right or not. And then you see if you need to start refreshing media, and then every year there has to be, a breakdown, a new focus. Of course, within the 3-year plan that you already created, and see what has changed and moved. Yes. So thank you so much for having me. What I would say is, for all our business people out there, even individuals, do your best by ensuring that you always plan ahead. Have a clear picture of where you want to go to, and find the roadmap. Create a roadmap for getting yourself there. But beyond planning, make sure you execute your strategy from day one.
Execution is important. Thank you very much. Strategy expert Adeyinka John, it's so nice to have you. I totally enjoyed this conversation. I also learned from your explanations. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm sure you've learned so much from this her detailed teachings and explanation. These are the things you pay money, consultation fee. But here, we are giving you free of charge. Let's take a break. When we come back, the show returns on your screen.